Okay. So for practice today, we'll be working into kind of like the outer body again, but in a different way. Last week we were working on half moon, and this week we'll be moving towards some like IT band opening, which is really more like outer quad opening and then hamstring opening, to move in the direction of potentially revolved half moon. And that will be completely optional. There'll just be a moment that we touch into that space. And if you want to explore that, you'll have that chance. But I always like to preface, like anytime we're working with the quads and IT bands and hamstrings, these are areas of the body that are particularly pretty sticky. And the outer leg is an area that can be easily avoided in yoga sometimes, actually. We're really used to opening through the fronts of the hips, through the outer hips, but reaching down into the outer leg is a space that can be a little bit neglected. And so because it's a space we don't always reach into, it's a little bit foreign, and that means it maybe is a little bit stickier and moodier. So making sure that you're listening to your body too, because sometimes tightness around these areas can also then lead to pulling on the knees. And so I want to make sure that as we open these spaces that we're actually being extra mindful of how our knees feel. Other than that, the heart space intention that I wanted to work with this week is just offering the invitation to reflect on how our judgments and or assumptions, which are really usually hand in hand, are actually a product of a lack of trust and fear, right? Fear and insecurity, and how our yoga practice can help us to see how there are many ways to move about this world. In the physical yoga practice, we all have different bodies and we all have different experience in the shapes. We all experience the shapes differently. And then when we get a little bit further away from the physical, right, our hearts all experience something different when we step onto our yoga mats. We all come here for different reasons in terms of the heart space energy and what we crave for creating within our mind. Maybe that's peace and quiet, maybe it's focus. And out in the world, when we're interacting with each other, our brains are typically quick to judge and assume. It's like part of the default programming. It's part of keeping us safe, but giving ourselves the opportunity to pause before we react or respond, or at least to reflect on how we react or respond, can help us to choose to make change within that. So, and I know for me personally, there's a fear of being a judgmental person, that I am a judgmental person, and that's a fear of mine. And through the yoga practice and mindfulness, I have the opportunity to watch how my inner world responds to a situation or a person. And then just that couple extra seconds of taking pause, or the awareness at least, helps me to choose differently, or at least to begin to notice. And so while we're moving across our yoga mats, those extra seconds of pause before we decide to take a shape or before we move on from something if we're not ready to, is also practicing the mindfulness that will support that introspection and reflection off the yoga mat as well. So that's what I'm practicing, at least on my yoga mat this week. And again, if you just joined, if you have 2 yoga blocks handy, great. If not, no worries. And then we'll start in meditation. You can either begin in a comfortable seat or on your back body, whatever you prefer. And then just taking a moment to close your eyes, to settle into your space, settle into the awareness of breath and body. As you begin to let everything outside of this moment slowly fade back. Once you've settled in, if it would feel good to start with a cleansing breath, then go ahead and take a really deep inhale in. And an open mouth exhale out. And allow your lips to seal. Take a slower and fuller breath in through your nose. You find a little pause at the top of your breath before you slowly exhale that breath all the way to empty. Be taking that pause at the bottom of your breath before you fill up again. That's it. In this space of mindfulness, breath awareness, they can slow things down and begin to notice more. You're starting to notice how your body feels this morning. Maybe even beginning to check in with your relationship surrounding judgment and assumption, the experiences maybe from the past that bubbled up to the surface. Maybe thinking of any times when judgment and assumption maybe took you through a detour, but how it eventually might have led you into deeper understanding and learning something about yourself or someone else that you didn't know before. How when we step beyond our initial judgments and assumptions, that we have more access if we're willing to be open to that greater understanding. Maybe for your practice today, the intention that you offer yourself throughout this practice is to practice, not assuming that you know how your body will respond to each shape, but really being in that moment by moment conversation with your body and not judging your body for where it's at today, but meeting your body there in a compassionate way, no matter how your body feels. Accepting where it's at and welcoming yourself to your practice, no matter what. The unconditional love that this practice can offer us. We can begin to practicing ourselves that as well. So practicing that unconditional love from ourselves and towards ourselves through these shapes and movements. So with whatever heart space intention resonates with you, go ahead and hold that at your heart. Maybe even place a hand on your heart or both hands on your heart. And then go ahead and take another deep breath in through your nose. And cleansing exhale to let go. And then take your time to find your way to your back body if you're not already there. And on your back body, just make your way into a full body stretch. Your first check-in of the morning, maybe with your body. And as you reach long from fingers to toes, take an extra inhale. And then start to bring both knees into your body as you exhale. Draw your thighs in close to lengthen your low back and take a breath in. And then gentle twist, drop your knees to the left as you breathe out. Let's start with a cycle of breath here, noticing how your inhale creates a different sensation. Now your exhale offers a new sensation as well. And then find one more breath in. And on your breath out, continue to roll to your left side into your fetal pose. So left ear is going to rest into left bicep. Then reach your right hand down to catch your right foot. We'll find our thigh stretch to start. So hand of foot, start to draw your heel towards your seat, navel to spine, and then stretch your tailbone forward towards the top of your yoga mat. Collarbones wide. We'll take another breath here. You're noticing the relationship between your breath and sensation in this shape. Meeting your body where it's at with your quadricep stretch this morning. Maybe your right thigh bone can slide a little bit further back for one more moment. And then we're going to release our right leg long. So right foot's going to reach towards the top of your yoga mat. As you roll into your back body, just release your right leg to the ground. Left knee will draw into your body like wind removing pose. And then lengthen your left leg up to the sky for your hamstring stretch. You might decide to bend your right knee and place your right foot to the earth for a little bit less intensity for this first hamstring stretch. If you'd like to have your right leg long, feel free to keep it long. Then you might point flex, circle through your left ankle for a moment. And then flex your left heel high to the sky. To lengthen out your left side body, so your left hip crease is pulling slightly energetically to the front of your yoga mat. Keep your left hip really heavy and begin to tip your left foot slightly over to the right. Okay, so especially if you keep the integrity of your left hip on the earth, your left foot probably won't go very far across the midline. And it's not about how far it goes, it's about listening to your body. Okay, so finding that sweet spot. Maybe a slight external rotation of your whole left thigh bone, your femur bone. It's almost like you're trying to rotate your left toes towards the left side of the room. And then figure for your left ankle on your right thigh. We're going to continue that outer leg opening up into the outer seat. So option to bring the figure four to you. Maybe a little bit of movement initially as you take a breath. And then one more deep breath in. And on this breath out, go ahead and unwind your legs, knees to your chest, and then drop your knees over to the right for your gentle twist to start. Okay, so starting on the second side, gentle twist, one full cycle of breath just to feel the sensation. Noticing if this side feels any different than the first. And then take an extra breath in, creating a little bit more space along your left side body. And we'll roll to the right side for fetal pose. Then your left hand can reach down to catch your left foot, creating your quadricep stretch through your left thigh up into the front of your left hip. Add in that little bit of core connection to add some resistance to your stretch. Tailbone stretches forward in space to help lengthen your low back. And feel your upper thigh bone move into the back of your pelvis. And just noticing the sensation of inhale and exhale. So you take one more cycle here. Then just like we did on the first side, to release, lengthen your left leg forward, roll onto your back body into wind removing pose, right thigh comes in, and then reach your right leg long up to the sky for your hamstring stretch. Deciding if you'd like to have your left leg long or your left knee bend. Find a little bit of movement for your right ankle to start. And then as you flex your right heel up to the ceiling, that stretch can reach a little bit more down into your right calf. Keep the flex of your foot, keep the anchor of your right hip, and then tip your right foot slightly to the left. Then from that connection between your right hip, where it's rooted to the earth, and out through your right heel, you feel that long line of energy. Can you breathe into that space? Again, not worrying about how far your right leg goes across the midline. Seeing if we can make our practice less achievement oriented and more just about being in communication with muscles and bones, with our physical vessel. Okay, figure four, right ankle on your left thigh. Maybe bringing that whole figure four to your body for a deeper thread the needle stretch. You can take a little tip from side to side, checking in with your right hip. And just take one more breath here. And this time, as we breathe out and release, we're going to move into a bridge pose. So go ahead and unwind your legs with your knees bent. Place your feet to the earth. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, lift your hips into your bridge pose. Now you're really strong through your feet, active through your core, tailbone reaches slightly forward. And then for today, just have your arms down beside you, palms pressing into the earth. We're going to move into our core connection from our bridge pose with our hips lifted. If as we start to move into this, your body says no thank you to having your hips lifted, you can lower your hips to the earth and do the exact same movement now. So getting super strong through your right foot, strong through your core, you're going to reach your left leg up towards the sky. Flex through your left foot, and if you start to get here and your body says no thank you, lower your hips to the ground. Continue to stretch your tailbone forward. Take your right hand behind your head, elbow wide. And then what you're going to do is inhale, start to lower your left leg any amount. This can be halfway down. This can be towards a hover. But then as you exhale, push through your right foot, navel to spine. You're going to bend your left knee into your body and twist your right elbow towards your left thigh. It doesn't have to touch. And on your inhale, send your left leg forward, open your heart back up to the sky. Hips are still lifted or they're intentionally on the earth. And then exhale, bend and twist again. Left thigh pulls in, right elbow reaches across. And one more time, inhale, lengthen your left leg forward, open your heart to the sky. On your exhale, push through your right foot as you bend your left knee into your body and twist your right elbow across. Go ahead and let your hips lower down, left foot to the earth, release, and take a little windshield wiper from side to side. I know this one can be like a little bit funky and hopefully it's translating over Zoom. We're gonna do second side. Okay, so I'm gonna flip around just so I can face you. But you stay as you are. When you're ready, take a big breath in and then use your exhale to lift your hips into your bridge pose. Right, for this bridge, you're going to be more active through your core than you might normally be in a bridge pose. And you really want to make sure that your tailbone is reaching to the front of your yoga mat so that your low back is spacious. Good, from here, you'll get strong through your left foot and then reach your right leg up to the sky. So you're in this one-legged bridge, right foot reaching up to the ceiling. Remember, at this point, you might choose to lower your hips down and do the movement without the lift of your hips. Left hand will go behind your head, elbow wide. Then inhale, lower your right leg any amount. Make sure your navel's pulling to your spine as your right leg lowers. On your exhale, push through your left foot, bend your right knee to your body, and twist your left elbow towards your right thigh. And inhale, reach your right leg forward, back to where it just was. Open your heart to the ceiling, core strong. Same thing, exhale, push through your left foot, bend your right knee in and twist your left elbow across. Just one more time, inhale, lengthen, open. Strong core, exhale, bend and twist. Go ahead and release your hips to the earth, right foot to the ground. Head and shoulders drop back, take a couple windshield wipers again. You can also take a happy baby for a moment. Maybe a deep inhale through your nose. Maybe a cleansing exhale out of your mouth. Let's make our way up to our tabletop pose. So go ahead and find your way up to all fours. And then if you're working with your yoga blocks today, you just want them at the front corners of your yoga mat so they're out of the way of your face, but within reach for your lunges. On your tabletop pose, go ahead and inhale to a cow shape. Lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And then exhale, cat pose, round your spine. One more time, just like that. Breathe into your cow, lift your heart and tail. And exhale, cat pose, push down and forward through your hands, head hangs heavy. This time, inhale to your cow pose, heart and tailbone lift, and then from your cow pose, tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. So hip creases lead the way. Take a moment to adjust your hands and feet. Reach one heel down towards the ground, then check in with the other. And then as you settle into your downward facing dog, relax your head, energize your biceps to the midline. So imagine you're squeezing a block between your upper arm bones to help light up the back body, so your upper back strength. Inhale your right leg to the sky. And just make sure that for today, we're gonna flex the foot and square our hips. So making sure that your hip and your knee and your toes all point down to the ground, hip is square. Go ahead and take a big breath in and step your right foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. Then we're gonna follow with the left. So go ahead and find a cross-legged forward fold. Left ankle crosses behind your right. And then soften your knees and dive down. If you wanna use the blocks or a little support here, you can. And then your cross-legged forward fold with your left ankle behind your right. Try to relax your head. Maybe you find a little bit of sway forward and back here. And start to unwind your legs, traditional forward fold, so left foot just beside your right. With some softness through your knees, inhale to your halfway lift. So feel your hip creases stretch back as the front of your head reaches forward. And exhale, forward fold, dive down. Rise all the way up on your inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up high. At the top, your left hand's gonna grab your right wrist, lean to your left for a side body stretch. And follow an inhale to rise up to center again. Switch your grip and tip over to the right. Go ahead and breathe in, lift and lengthen one more time to the midline. And then soften your knees as you forward fold back to the earth. Halfway lift, core strength initiates the length. And then high plank pose, plant your hands and step your feet back. Right, so strong legs here, strong center. Take a really slow inhale. And an even slower exhale, and giving ourselves the opportunity to pause and check in before we create a movement, before we shift. When you're ready, you're gonna inhale, shift forward. Knees up or down. How slowly can you find your way to the earth? Actively reach your elbows back as you stretch the crown of your head forward, all the way to your belly. Then untuck your toes. Anchor through your toenails, light up your thighs. Inhale, low cobra. Follow your exhale back down to the earth. Then inhale to a low cobra or a high cobra this time. Perhaps you lift a little bit taller, trying to keep the space between shoulders and ears. And exhale back down. Last round, low cobra, high cobra, or maybe you progress forward into your upward facing dog. And then we'll meet back in our downward facing dog, hips to the sky. For second side, go ahead and inhale your left leg up to the ceiling. Again, flex your foot and square your hip. Giving a little bit of an extra stretch through the right hamstring. Breathe in again, and then step your left foot forward to the top. Right ankle will follow to cross behind, cross-legged forward fold. Once your right ankle is behind your left, soften your knees, let your head hang heavy. Remember that your blocks are available to bring the earth closer if you'd like to use them. Maybe shift a little bit forward and back. And go ahead and unwind your legs, finding your traditional forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Think about your breath and your center strength leading the way. Exhale to dive back down. Rise all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana on your inhale, stretch tall to the sky. And goddess arms as you exhale, elbows open wide. Breathe in to reach up again. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale to your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale to your high plank. Plant your hands and step your feet back. And pausing for your breath in, checking with your body. You get to decide if your knees are up or down as you pause here for exhale, lining up your core even more. We'll inhale to glide forward. Chaturanga, lower half square all the way. Open your heart, up dog or cobra. And then back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, hips to the sky. Okay. So the entrance into our flow this morning is a little bit different than how we typically start our layers. So as we inhale, we're going to lift up high to our tippy toes. On your exhale, without going to a three-legged dog, just shift your right knee towards your left tricep. So just shift forward, right knee, left tricep. And then downward facing dog, right toes land to the earth. Your core pulls your hips to the sky. So again, side exhale, left knee, right tricep. Heart goes straight forward. And then downward facing dog, breath in. One more time, right knee, left tricep, breath out. Pausing here. Reach your right leg through. Half fallen triangle, flex your foot. Send your heart forward through your biceps. Left heel is high over the bum end of your left foot, shoulders over wrists. Big stretch through your outer right leg. And then go ahead and find your way into your fallen triangle. So let your left heel spin down now and open all the way up. Little micro bend through your right elbow. Proud chest, take an inhale. We'll meet in a three-legged dog, so left hand to the earth. Use your core to reach your right leg to the sky. Now step your right foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. You're working with yoga blocks, grab onto them and frame your right foot with them on the highest setting. Otherwise, you can also use your fingertips here. Cow lunge, left knee is gonna hover, open your heart forward. Especially if you're working with blocks, think about up dog energy through your torso. So really press the earth away here. And then we're gonna lengthen our legs into our cat lunge. So you always have the opportunity to adjust where your feet and blocks are in space, or feet and hands are in space. So if you need to move any part of your body, give yourself permission to adjust. Hug your right hip back, left hip forward. And think about lengthen your spine here. So rather than forward folding over your right thigh, think about a halfway lift. Now we're going to keep the length in our right leg, left hand to block or fingertips. We're going to twist our right hand to the sky. Feel your right hip hug back in space. Feel your left rib wrap around to help you rotate. Strong through your legs. Take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, bend your right knee, release your twist, lean into your right foot. We're going to walk forward into a standing split so your blocks can walk with you. Left leg to the sky. You can always leave the blocks behind once you're here. Any amount of softness through your right knee. In your standing split, take a big breath. And then slowly find your way to chair pose. So bend your right knee a lot so that you can step your left foot to the earth. Both feet planted, let your seat get low and slowly lift up through your heart and hands. Big breath in. As you exhale, airplane your arms beside you. Begin to tip the energy to your left foot, and you're going to flamingo your right heel to your seat. Good. So with your right heel flamingo to your seat, just give yourself a moment. And then slowly start to lengthen out towards your airplane pose. Sending extension through both legs. Give yourself a full breath in here. Crescent lunge, right toes release to the back of your yoga mat. And then lift up through your heart and hands. Big breath in. And exhale to airplane your arms beside you, your airplane lunge. And then we're going to explore our exalted crescent from here. So twisting your heart to the left. And sweep your right hand across the midline and up to the sky. Left hand can reach either just back in space or towards your right hamstring. Big breath in, lift through your sternum. Then exhale back into your airplane lunge. So just dive your heart forward to where you just were. Both hands reach back beside you. Strong legs, high crescent on your inhale, rise up again. And then goddess arms, option to dip your right knee to a hover on your exhale. Awesome. As you push through your feet, reach up again, big breath. Hands to the earth to frame your left foot. Right hand stays as your base, twist your left hand to the sky, full breath in. On your exhale, turn all 10 toes to the left, horizon lunge, option to wiggle your left foot back in space a little bit. Flex your feet, surround the outside edges of both feet. Heart is open. And then listening to your knees, if it's available, sink your hips towards the earth as you reach to the back of your yoga mat a little bit. And then start to unwind into your chaturanga or back to downward facing dog. So you can take a flow or you can just lift your hips up and back to the sky. That is up to you. Once you make your way back to downward facing dog, we're gonna move into second side. So taking your time, inhale, lift your heels. Listen on your exhale, you're gonna take left knee to right tricep first this time. So left knee, right tricep, heart reaches forward. Pull from your core, downward facing dog slowly as you inhale, left toes just to the earth. Second side, right knee, left tricep, slide forward. From your core, downward facing dog, breath in. Last one, left knee, right tricep, shift forward. This time, fallen triangle. Send your left leg through, or rather half fallen triangle. So flex your left foot through, both hands sternum in the earth. Then try to plank out your body, stretch your heart forward. Shoulders over wrists, your right heel is high. It's like you're squaring your hips down to the earth still. And then go ahead and find your way to your full fallen triangle, opening up. As you plant through your right heel, reach your right hand to the sky. Check that you have that micro bend through your left elbow and that your right inner thigh is helping support the lift of your hips here. Three-legged dog, take your time, use your core to pull your left foot up and back. And then place your left foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. Again, if you're working with blocks, go ahead and frame your left foot with them on the high setting. Dip your right into a hover cow lunge. Blocks or fingertips, chest is proud. Kind of encourage your right knee back in space, creating more distance between both knees. Heart open, and then go ahead and lengthen your legs into your cat lunge. Again, feeling free to make any adjustments to where your feet and or hands are in space. Now root down to the four corners of your left foot as you hug your left hip back in space. Hug muscle to bone at the same time. Your right heel can be high or low, seeing how both feels. And then either right hand to right block or right fingertips. With your left leg still moving towards extension, you have the option to twist your left hand to the sky. This without blocks is pretty sticky, so you might have a little bit more of a bend in your left leg, and that's totally fine. Hug your left hip back in space. Strong legs. Make sure that your core is working to support the twist as well. So that's a more active twist. Utilizing the center body to help with rotation. Go ahead and bend your left knee, release the twist, and then lean into standing splits. You're going to tip your right leg up to the sky. Blocks can walk forward with you. You can keep or release them. But try your best to relax the weight of your skull towards the earth. Maybe finding a square hip here as well. Just so we get a more true hamstring stretch through our base leg, our left leg. Bend your left leg a lot as you find your way into Utkatasana chair pose. Really take your time. Once your seat is low, both feet firmly on the earth, go ahead and lift your heart and hands. Feel your hip creases actively stretch to the back of your yoga mat. Notice if your core lights up in response to that action. And then go ahead and airplane your arms beside you. As you lean into your right foot, flamingo your left heel to your seat. Just taking a moment to find your steadiness here. And as you're ready, begin to fly into your airplane pose for a breath. Letting wobbles show up. Breathing through the wobbles. Crescent Lunge, land your left toes gently to the earth. And then take an inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, airplane arms, hinge your heart forward, chest stays proud. We'll find that exalted crescent to the right, so twist towards the right, heart goes to the right as your left hand scoops across the midline and up to the sky. Your shoulder blades help to boost your sternum away from your pelvis. Back to your airplane lunge, dive your heart forward again, and into your high crescent, rise tall. Goddess arms, we dip your left knee to a hover. Open through your front leg. Press through your feet to lift back up. And then hands to the earth, frame your right foot. Left palm to the ground, twist your right hand to the sky. Stay or horizon lunge. Again, in your horizon lunge, super mindful of your knees. If your IT bands, your quads, your hips are tight, sometimes that pulls the knee. So mindful here, especially as you maybe dip and reach the back of your yoga mat. And then vinyasa or down dog, unwind, take a flow or just step up and back. Good. Find a quick child's pose. Knees to the earth, hips to heels. And we start just with one deep breath in. And one cleansing breath out. And then I'm going to show you really quickly a part of our next layer. So we're going to be moving into our final little layer of flow. The first part that will come up is within our fallen triangle. Okay. Fallen triangle could also be modified side plank. Yes. The add-on here is a very big core engagement. So you can do this from modified side plank or from your fallen triangle if you want to. The action is an inhale to reach the top hand overhead. In that case, it's my left hand. On my exhale, use my right hand and my left foot as the base. I'm going to exhale, curl, crunch, left elbow to right thigh. So my bottom leg is lifting up into a little crunch and tap. And then I release out. From a modified side plank, it's a little bit funkier because you have to slide that right leg through. So you take a big breath in, left hand overhead. On my exhale, I push through my left foot and right hand. I'm going to pull left elbow to right thigh. And then back to my modified side plank. So that is just an option. It is a lot of pressure on the base hand. So just make sure that feels okay for your body. The second thing is that revolved half moon moment, should you choose to embark on that journey. So we'll eventually end back up in our exalted crescent. Something to think about here too, when you're going from your airplane lunge into the exalted crescent, for today, just to explore rather than scooping straight up, think about from your airplane lunge, sweeping forward and across. So it's more of a twist and you're creating length as you go. Yeah, I find that feels really nice through my spine, so you might explore that. From here, this is our moment for revolved half moon, or you can stay here, or you can be here, or any variation of a twisted lunge, right? Whatever you want to do here. If you're going to your revolved half moon, this is where the block might come in handy. My top hand is going to be my bottom hand. So I'm tipping forward into the revolved half moon. My right hand in this case is going to go from the sky towards the block. I'm going to lean into a supported airplane pose first. Maybe my left hand just goes to my left hip. Once I know that my core is strong, my right leg, my lifted leg is active, and I hug my left hip back in space, then maybe I take a big breath in. Then use my center strength to twist my heart to the left, maybe left hand to the sky. Yeah? We'll release to crescent lunge. So you don't have to go to your revolved half moon, but if you want to, you can choose to explore it. Okay, so we'll meet in downward facing dog. Again, blocks at the top of your yoga mat if they're available to you and you're working with them. Here we go. With your inhale, just fill your lungs up. And then on your exhale, try to release everything away. Clearing away with the breath any thoughts that have bubbled up into your mind about things outside of this moment and your practice. Go ahead and inhale your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. On your exhale, right knee, left tricep cross underneath your body. Falling triangle, reach your right leg through, or modified side plank, open up, take a big inhale. Okay, staying here as you exhale, just checking in to make sure your right elbow has a micro bend, your left leg is strong. Maybe stretch your left hand overhead with your breath. And then maybe one time you bring left elbow and right thigh together, curl crunch. Now from your curl crunch, or wherever you are, three-legged dog, left hand finds the earth, push your right leg up to the sky. Big breath in, bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or wild thing, right toes can step behind you if you'd like to. Take an inhale. And then three-legged dog on your exhale, release your right hand down, breathe your right leg up to the sky, and step your right foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. Rubbing onto your blocks if you're working with them, supported cow lunge, or rise up to your fingertips as your left knee hovers with your inhale. We'll go into standing splits as we exhale, so all the way from your cow lunge, tip into your right foot, adjust your hands or blocks, and lift your left leg to the sky. Take a big breath in at the top. One time optional Shiva squat, maybe bend both of your knees. Sink your seat low as your left knee comes towards your right calf. Lift your heart, look forward, and press through your right heel to re-extend, standing splits. Into our chair pose, we'll bend both of our knees. Sink into your seat, take an inhale to lift up. Exhale, airplane arms. Flamingo, your right heel up towards your seat. So left leg is your base, right heel flamingos. And go ahead and slowly expand into your airplane pose again. Take a nice full inhale. Crescent lunge, gently release your right toes down. Breathe up through heart and hands. Airplane arms, breath out, hinge forward. We'll twist our heart to the left. Exalt your crescent, sweep your right hand across the midline and up on your inhale. Now again, you can stay in any twisted lunge or revolved half moon. Maybe right hand finds your block if you have one, and you lean forward into your supported airplane pose, really push the earth away. Left hand to left hip. Now energizing your right leg, strong through your center. You can have some softness in your left knee. Maybe start to twist your heart to the left. Now you can start to twist without taking your left hand to the sky. I sometimes just leave my left hand on my sacrum. Wherever you are, take one more breath here. Maybe your inhale to lengthen, your exhale to twist again. And then slowly crescent lunge. Right toe step back, lift up through your heart and hands on your breath in. Goddess arms, open your chest. This can be with or without a little dip through your back knee. We'll rise through a crescent lunge on inhale. And then Vinyasa or a down dog as you exhale. Once you find your way back to downward facing dog, take a deep breath through your nose. And cleansing exhale to let go. Inhale your left leg to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right tricep cross underneath. Falling triangle, left leg weaves through as your right heel spins down. This could also be your modified side plank. Take a moment just to get super strong through your right inner thigh and your core. Option to reach your right hand overhead with your inhale. Exhale, maybe your right elbow and left thigh come to tap. Three-legged dog from here. Pull your left leg up and back with your breath. Bend your knee, open your hip. Stay or wild thing. Gentle landing of your left toes to the earth. You open your heart to the sky. Three-legged dog, land your left hand back down, lift your left leg up. And then take a giant step forward, left foot to the top. Fingertips or blocks, cow lunge, right knee hovers on breath in. And then powerful push to your left foot to find standing splits when you're ready. Heavy through your skull, take an inhale. Stay or one slow Shiva squat. Really bend through your knees. Really let your seat tip down towards the earth as your heart tips up to the sky. And then press through your left foot, standing splits. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Land into your strong seat, lift up through your heart. Airplane arms, lean into your right foot and flamingo your left heel to your glute. So switching out the working leg, we'll expand towards our airplane pose with a big breath in. And into our crescent lunge as we breathe out. Stack up tall through your spine on your inhale. Airplane your arms with your exhale. Twist your heart to the right, exalt your crescent, left hand sweeps across and up on your breath. And then from here, you can stay or revolve half moon. Option for support. You could also always take an airplane pose up this time. Okay. Right side body's long, take your breath in. Exhale to twist. Think inhale for length. And exhale to twist. The right hand can reach the sky or not. Take one more breath here. And then slow motion, we'll all connect back in our crescent lunge. Take your time to descend, breathe up to the sky. Goddess arms, optional dip of your left knee towards a hover. Rise or reach tall one more time. Vinyasa or down dog, making a really conscious choice, giving yourself again that opportunity to check in and ask what you need. From your downward facing dog, go ahead and release to a child's pose. Knees to the earth, hips to your heels. Just take one cycle of breath. Okay, from here, we're just gonna roll up to a seat. Scooch forward to the top of your yoga mat. And we'll take a seat at the top. We'll choose either a cross-legged seat or double pigeon today. So either take your right shin in front or on top of your left, either is fine. But also take a half pigeon if you want to as well. And then flexing through your feet, big breath in, reach to the sky. On your exhale, you can either hinge straight forward, finding a forward fold, but also take a side bend from side to side if you want to. You can also take a side bend, swoop through a forward fold into the opposite side bend, and back around again. If you're a double pigeon, that one might be a little bit sticky. Wherever you are, take another breath. Go ahead and slowly rise up. Unwind your legs. And then windshield wipe your knees from side to side for a moment. For second side, take your left shin in front for cross-legged seat or on top of your right shin. So left shin in front or left shin on top. Especially if you're in double pigeon, flex your feet. And again, you can either reach up and then fold forward, and just be here. You can go side to side slowly with your breath. Or you can do those sweeps, which we call these in pole dancing. They're called weeping willows. So sweeping across and up. And drawing that big half circle of the forward fold to the other side. So whatever feels good, give yourself one more full cycle of breath. And then eventually you'll find your way back up through center. Pop your legs apart. And then reverse tabletop. So knees bent, feet to the earth, fingertips face your seat as you plant your palms to stack beneath your shoulders. Take a breath in and exhale, press your feet to lift your pelvis up. Head can hang heavy, or you can just look up to the sky. Any sort of movement here, you can shift forward and back or side to side gently, again, being in communication with your body. And let your hips land back down to the earth. We'll use our heel anchors to lower down. If you are working with yoga blocks, send them to the back of your yoga mat just so that you can grab them from lying down if you want them. And then as you flex your feet into the earth, take a big breath in, reach up high. Navel to spine, exhale, slowly begin to lower all the way down. Keep driving your toes into the earth as you pull your navel back. All the way down. Into a full body stretch, breath in. And then bring your knees into your chest as you breathe out. We'll interlace our hands on our right shin. Extend your left leg out across the earth, pausing for a breath. And then gentle twist, or rather supine twist, right knee tips towards the left here. Now you can just hang out in your supine twist, or if you want to add in your thigh stretch, again, one more time, you would bend your left heel to your seat, that's your bottom leg, and maybe reach with your right hand to catch left foot. That is, of course, just an option. It's very pretzel-like, so listening to your body. It can be okay if every option that is given in our yoga practice is not the option that is true for us, is not an option that's maybe available in our bodies. Can we be okay with that? Recognizing that options are more of just an opportunity to acknowledge our variances, our individuality, and all our uniqueness. So finding the twist that feels good for you. Take one more breath here. And start to release, unwind. We'll meet on our back bodies, knees to chest. And then hands to your left shin. Release your right leg long across the earth. Take a breath in. And supine twist, a breath out. Again, traditional supine twist might be perfect and exactly what you need. If you want your thigh stretch to add on, right heel is going to bend into your seat and your left hand will catch your right foot. Give yourself just another breath or two here. When you are ready to release and unwind, bring your knees back into your body. And we're going to either make our way to Shavasana from here. Maybe if you want to add in a happy baby or something along the way, like a plow pose, you can. Or also the invitation to rest in a supported bridge or butterfly for Shavasana with your block is available today. So if you're wanting to take that variation, you're going to Set up as if you're going to your bridge pose. You'll press into your feet to lift your hips up just enough to slide your yoga block underneath you. I think the lowest setting is best, especially if you're choosing to spend some of your Shavasana in it. And this block is just your sacrum, so lower than your low back. You want it to support the weight of your pelvis, kind of like the upper glute area. And then you can either just keep your legs in your bridge setup. You can let your knees knock together like a fallen bridge, or you can bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open wide. We didn't do any really like super explicit external rotation through our hips. So unless that's somewhere that your body kind of naturally gravitates to and enjoys, then you might explore the opposite instead today because of the twisting, right? Allowing any release to the low back. So fallen bridge, traditional bridge, or butterfly on your yoga block, or maybe you're just in your Shavasana. And as you feel yourself sink and settle into whatever shape you've chosen for your final relaxation, and take a really deep inhale through your nose. And when you're ready, an open mouth exhale to let it go. As you take one more minute just to be as you are, and allowing this mindful space to give you the opportunity to reflect, an opportunity to notice the thoughts that are moving through your mind, to lean back into the seat, the mindful observer of witnessing awareness, to pay attention to the thoughts and feelings, the sensations that are present. As you watch your inner dialogue, noticing how you speak to yourself or about those around you. Noticing what takes up your mind space when your mind chooses to wander. And again, always trying to lean back to view through the lens of curiosity and compassion. And so as you continue to observe and notice, maybe start to also deepen your breath. And as you deepen each inhale and start to lengthen out each exhale again, you can take a full body stretch if you'd like to. You can just stay exactly as you are. Maybe bringing your hands to your heart and closing practice from the earth. So allowing yourself to end your practice on your back body, fully supported by the ground below. And so allowing yourself to drop a little bit deeper into that support as you pause to recognize the time and the energy that you devoted to your practice this morning. We pause to acknowledge the ancient roots of this practice that continues to serve us today. We pause in gratitude of this community and this way to connect and to continue to connect to each other and grow together, even when we are physically apart. So deep breath in through your nose, gathering up all that gratitude and appreciation for yourself, this practice, each other. And open mouth exhale, go ahead and release the breath, let it go. May yoga offer us a path to compassion. And may our practices serve as our teachers, our guides, in living more authentically and loving more deeply each and every day. Thank you so much for being here. And namaste.